This meeting of the Eastham Board of Library Trustees will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 18 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. Welcome. The meeting is called to order. Hello, Mary Ann. Welcome. Olivia will not be joining us this afternoon. She was not feeling well and stayed home from school, so I just share that message with you. The first item of business is the acceptance of the minutes. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes as distributed?
I move we accept the minutes of our last meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second, okay, any discussion? Yes.
On item number 5D, and I looked this over carefully for Willow, so I didn't see it. But, so I apologize to Willow, but Mary Ann's last name isn't spelled correctly.
And can I change it and consider that
Editorial,
an editorial?
Yeah, sure.
editorial correction.
I will do that.
Okay.
Who was the second person that approved it? Oh,
Sarah.
Thank you.
So all those in favor of approving the minutes as editorially corrected, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. There is an issue with the way the process we've been following with the approval of the minutes that Sarah became aware of through her role on the school committee. So I'll let Sarah explain what she came upon and we'll take it from there.
So because I joined the school committee, I went to a training for it, and they, one part of the training was on open meeting law. And these folks, and I gave the example of, because I'm actually the secretary of a subcommittee of the school committee. And I said, oh, I'm gonna do the minutes and then I'll send it, and then I'll send it out to everybody and they can send me back their comments. And they said, no, you can't do that because of the open meeting law. So then when I was at this training, I gave the specific example of, we send out a draft of the minutes and then individually send the changes back to the secretary. And they said, I would not do that. So that changes should, because they gave an example of, like, if you have a document you're trying to prepare, you wouldn't have like a Google document that you're all working in or something like that.
Considered
But we're not-
conducting business remotely without the public being aware of it.
But
Yeah,
it's one-on-one.
yeah, but even so.
We do it
it's,
for the finance committee, we do it for the community preservation
Yeah.
committee. And as long as the only people responding are responding directly to
One
one
person.
person and there's no discussion
There's no
amongst, there's
deliberation.
no, what's the word I want?
Deliberation,
What, I'm sorry?
no deliberation.
Thank you, that's the word. No deliberation, that it's accepted for.
I think
been
it's all
accepted.
right.
Who should
Yeah.
we touch base with about it?
Yeah,
Jackie probably.
or town clerk possibly would
Mhm.
be the place. I did an AI search on it and I put in the question, MA open meeting law submission of edits to draft minutes prior to action at a meeting. And the AI response was, in Massachusetts, the open meeting law prohibits circulating draft minutes to members of a public body before the meeting. And then here are some best practices and it
So
goes
how
on
do you
to
do
list
it?
with them. Yeah, I think it would
It's more
take time.
cumbersome, but
I think a good step would be to submit the question to the town clerk,
Mm.
who could then, I think, render a decision for us. And if
I don't know.
she is in favor of this interpretation of the open meeting law,
How will
then
we
it's
do it?
just gonna take us longer to go through and review the minutes. It's gonna take time and
Yeah,
everything
well,
to do it.
yeah.
When Sarah had mentioned it to me, this was my understanding, was not that like there couldn't be corrections submitted to Willow directly, but that what she then after receiving those edits, we need to go over them publicly.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not that they can't be given to you, it's
Yeah.
that it needs to be addressed publicly
And
here.
I actually like that because I'm not aware of the changes other people might have suggested.
Okay, so what I can do is when you all give me edits, I will just put them in red, like,
Yeah,
You
just
know,
directly
an
in.
edited document,
Yeah,
send that out with the minutes. So you'll all see the edited when Melanie sends them. When Melanie sends the minutes out
in our
in
packet.
our packet.
Yeah.
I don't think we see it after we put the information to you until we have our meeting here.
And
No,
then
but
it's
if
the
it's-
final
no,
minutes,
No,
yeah.
but you could see it in her
Our-
packet.
In our
Yeah,
packet.
well, that's what I meant.
Oh,
Yeah,
you can
which
see
is
it.
when we.
And I'll just do the edits,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, the edit function.
Yep. And then we'll have to go.
And then
through
you'll
it.
see
And then we'll
that.
go through it, the changes that are requested or noted.
Seems like a real waste of time.
Well, it'll just be in public if it's part of the
Yeah.
packet, then somebody
Yeah,
could.
then we
review it.
can
You don't have
say
to
as
Do it, I don't think.
the edited version as printed in the
We
packet.
can do that.
And then the final one, you can get rid of all the
The rest.
editing that you sent to the town clerk to distribute.
Mhm.
And I don't think it will ever rise to the level, at least not in the foreseeable future, of being a problem. This becomes an issue in places where there've been conflict and
Mm.
controversy and minutes have been adjusted outside of the
95%
meeting.
is a capitalization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly probably
Yeah.
grammar and stuff like that. And we don't want to spend time at a meeting
Oh, my God.
doing that. So I think
Right.
if we just put the
Okay.
the minutes with the edits in the
In the
In the
packet.
packet, and then we approve that, and then when you send the final to
Right.
the town, maybe then you could also send us a final copy for our files.
Right.
You know, and
But the stuff doesn't go to the town until after we have our meeting.
yeah, so we would approve it,
Right.
and then she could send the final
Right,
version to
right,
the
right.
town,
Right.
and at that time, send us the final version as well.
Mhm.
Okay,
So I think that's a good solution to the problem.
that's.
So it's missing the step of you fixing it and sending us, before the meeting, sending us back
Yeah.
the final.
The
That step
public
won't
needs to
happen.
be allowed to be aware of the
Of the
changes that are
changes.
being
Yeah.
proposed, but
By
Joanna,
other
I think,
people.
has something
I
else.
was
to-
just gonna suggest we could ask our clerk
Anyway,
first.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
This is, I will run this by her before we change our procedure.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good suggestion to run by, and I will clarify that and follow up with you all over email.
Okay,
thank you.
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that is done. And
Trouble.
now we have a staff visit by
Somebody
Mary
put
Ann.
that on.
I didn't know it was gonna be so
And,
exciting leading up to her presentation.
Yes. We usually don't have anything exciting before the presentation, but so you're on, Mary Ann.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you for the invitation to give my annual State of the Turnip address. And I'm happy to report that all is well in turnip land. We have flooring repaired upstairs. We can proceed full steamed turnip ahead.
All right.
Okay,
I have given you some notes, Willow, and I will
Yep.
be following that pretty much in order. So just a recap. This year's funding, we have a total of $6,375. The breakdown is a very generous gift from the Friends, thank you, Friends, of $4,000. I asked Siemens Bank if they would consider an increase. They've been level funding us for the past 11 years at $500. And I put forward the notion that our expenses have increased dramatically, most particularly publicity and the entertainment piece.
Mm.
And they graciously doubled the grant, the corporate sponsorship, to $1,000. We have a $875 grant from the East Ham Cultural Council. I also asked Cape Cod Five if they would consider an increase from the $500 level funding they've been providing over the past decade. They've kept us level funded, but I do need to note that over the past 4 years now, they have sent 2 large boxes, 200 purple reusable shopping bags.
Shopping bag. Mm.
So it's more than a $500 gift, in other words.
Mm.
So we're grateful to all who have contributed to this funding for our annual event. We are using the model of satellite offerings again this year. We have found over the past 2 years that using the library as the hub works really, really well to our advantage. It brings in a lot of visitors. We have record numbers of people coming to the library on fest days. We have had record numbers of new library card registrations in 2022, 2023. So it gives us an opportunity to spotlight our other materials, our other services, our other programs. The fact that we were sponsoring the event really got lost after a fashion up at the high school. And speaking for myself and reflecting the views of many that I've spoken to, we like the idea of having it here, the hub here. But we are continuing to reach out and include other organizations. This year, hopping on our Turnip bandwagon is the rec department, who oversees the windmill tours. And we approached them, and they're going to have the windmill open on Saturday with a docent there to explain about the agricultural significance of that windmill and how it has served our town. In addition to that, the Swift Daily House will be open. Mark Herman will be there for Turn Up for Tool Time. And I've learned just yesterday that Bob Wells will be there as well, manning the forge. At the Chapel in the Pines next door, we have Turn Up for Tunes. Higher Ground String Band, who has been our perennial favorite over the years, is hanging up their fiddles and will not be performing. They graciously declined and said, we had a good run with it, but we're going to pass the turnip torch. And we've invited Cape Cod Ukulele Club, which seemed a good selection because of their sense of whimsy, and it seemed to fit the event. Taste of Turnip. I have the full menu. I'll pass you that way and for this
You wanna
way.
make us hungry before we have dinner?
Yes. You could eat your way across town from breakfast through dinner. We have croissants and scones to start. We have quiche, soups and sandwiches and pizza for lunch. There are all sorts of entrees and sides. And of course, turnip ice cream being sold at Friends and at Snowy Owl in Brewster, made by Local Scoop. There are 27 local eateries participating this year. Just as a side note, I will say that this year was a little bit more challenging to coordinate because we are past the pandemic and restaurants are back full throttle in 2020. The restaurants were, wow, this is great. This will bring people in. Now it's just an added something. So it's becoming a little bit more challenging, but we still have a full list, and so we're excited about that. As a result of some feedback that we received after Celebration 2023, we have decided, Team Turnip, that is, has decided to spotlight Wampanoag culture. In this year's event, we've invited the Wampanoag Nation singers and dancers. They'll be here at 2:30 to lead a interactive dance performance. Our plan, weather permitting, is to use the backyard. The grounds behind the building. If weather is inclement, we'll use the Turner Room. It appears from the forecast that the rain's going to clear out by Saturday morning. This is being funded by special programming fund through the Friends, and we're very thankful to the Friends for that funding. So little tongue-tied there. Also, thinking of the Wampanoag culture, we have invited, again, funded by the Friends, 2 members of the Mashpee Wampanoag to demonstrate how to make, and then people can take, native crafts. We have one person who will be making wampum pendants, and a second person who is demonstrating how to make corn husk dolls. And already around the grounds of the library, you will see our story walk for the month of November is featuring Pipanamuk, which is a picture book The Thanksgiving story, the Wampanoag Thanksgiving story. Other entertainment, we have the caricature artist. Her first year was last year. She was a tremendous hit. And she's coming back. We have Joanne Whittemore with the henna art. She's coming back. We have requested again, no glitter, thinking green. And she has agreed that everything will be glitter free. We have face painting, temporary turnip tattoos. We'll have 2 sessions of reading to dogs. The comfort dogs will be visiting 3 dogs per session here in the YA room. We have Trevor the Juggler at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Jungle Jim's Balloon and Magic Show in the morning. We also have some display tables. Al will be demonstrating our assistive devices for us again. Thank you, Al. And we'll have a large display table full of swag from the county extension service for Buy Fresh, Buy Local. We've got tea towels and cookbooks and magnets and brochures galore. We have
Unbelievable amount
we
of.
have quite a few boxes full of that stuff, which all went last year, so we're expecting it all to.
I'm still using my towel, my tea towel.
Ours is hung up.
Downstairs, Fran has a lively setup with make and take turnip crafts in the children's programming room. There's a turnip tumble game that has little trinket prizes to be won. That'll be set up. We're gonna put the face painter and the temporary tattoos down here this year. In part because if we need the Turner room for the dancing, we will need the space. Another word about setup. To prevent log jams in front of the circulation desk, we are reorganizing a bit upstairs. This year, we're going to use both the reading area on this side of the building and down by the fireplace. So in this space, we will have the henna artist and a make and take turnip craft that Karen has volunteered to organize and oversee, and one of the Wampanoag crafts. That will allow space for cues to form, and we will have signage that those things are happening in that space and signage where the lines should form. On this end of the building, we will have the caricature artist, the second Wampanoag craft, and Corey has volunteered to do a repurposed book art craft, erasure poetry, which was popular last year. He's going to be doing that again down there. Melanie's suggestion, which is a great way to move the traffic through the building, is to use the study carrels overlooking the pond as platforms to display our library of things. So each carrel will spotlight a particular item, the telescope, the hotspots, the CD player, and so forth. We'll have signage outside the building. I'll be asking staff to help me create a map on one of the whiteboards so that people will know before entering the building where things are located. We have a program and I can pass that around. That's the draft. It's not the final because of the flooring for a while, things were here, there, and in different spots, but that will be distributed at the door by
Right,
readers.
that's why I was asking about it, yeah.
Thank you, Mary, for greeting again this year. Speaking of signage, we have and have had for, over a week now, a sandwich board in the vestibule that states no turnips are being sold
Yay.
here.
That's a good idea.
And also in the window, both faces of the window, no turnips here, but here's a list of where you can find them. That's been included again this year in the press release. We do due diligence, but we hope that people get the message that no turnips are here. They can be bought, however, at the Orleans Farmers Market, and they've collaborated with us again this year. And there are at least 4, is my understanding, farmers who will be selling turnip there on that day. Julie and Jack will be donning their alter egos as Mr. and Ms. Turnip, and they'll be at the market in the morning distributing the purple shopping bags along with a couple of Debbie's friends. And I have given them a stack of the menus to distribute along with the bags. We'll have a stack of these menus right with the greeters at the entry door too.
Good. Can I just ask, you were
Sure.
talking about turnips themselves, and I did see a sign that they have them at Friends Market.
Mhm.
Are they also going to have them at the Superette? Do we know?
They've
They
had
are.
them, they've had them there
They're
for
there.
a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
They've had them there for a couple
Okay,
weeks.
so like
Yeah.
Friends, and they'll have them at the farmers, because that's one of the questions,
Mhm.
as we all know, that is frequently asked when I'm
Right.
sitting up there.
And those are the two closest locations.
The Superette and
The
Friends.
Superette and Friends, and then the market,
The farmer's market, but that's a
they close
timing,
at 12.
right, right.
They're also being sold in Truro at Long Nook Meadow Farm, at CBI Farm in Brewster, and at Hemian's in Harwich. And I'll have the list. It's posted in the window, Mary, but
Okay.
I'll give you a list so that you have it handy too.
Okay, good.
Other questions?
Do you want to, the staff is gonna be parking off campus, so to speak, in the backyard of, in the driveway of Bob C's house and in Devon's back driveway, and a couple of us, you and me, can park at Hughes next door. So that will get rid of a lot of cars.
What time do you want us to be here? Those of us that are,
Festivities begin at 10.
Yeah.
I would suggest 15 to 20 minutes in advance
I was
might be
thinking 9:30.
good to, or even 9:30 to
Yeah, yeah.
be in the building before the turnip crowds start forming outside. Al, I do have a reserved parking spot for you and Carmela if she's able to make it in the lot. And we
Okay.
have reserved parking for our entertainers who are lugging in gear. Anybody else who feels that they need a reserved space, I'd be happy to accommodate. Just let me know.
A question, Mary Ann, in terms of the equipment, are you or someone on staff gonna gather that ahead of time and just have it on the table and then I'll set it up?
Yes,
Okay, so, yeah, that way I don't have to get here,
right,
go further it all out,
right.
and good. So
I've
that's,
run off copies of the brochure for you.
and you got my edit on that, I think, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
good, I just, yeah.
Are you gonna put
9:30
that sign
sounds
out
good.
front
Which
That's
then,
about the no turnip sold here?
What did you ask, Debbie?
I can do that. It's
If
been in
we
the
can put the
vestibule.
sign out front that says no turnip
Oh,
sold
here,
here.
when you say out front where there's.
Oh, where we
roadside?
usually put the sign
Roadside.
that things, concerts and stuff, and Fran's dogs reading thing
Mhm, mhm.
out front, so they know, at least one way they know.
Other than arriving, coming in the door and now finding that,
Right.
because that's what's happened in
And
the
having you
past.
tell them, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just to give them a heads up. It's just one more way to give them a heads up.
One last little fun item. Joanne Whittemore, who does the henna art and who creates unique turnip designs each year, has volunteered to be here tomorrow between 1 and 3 to give staff and event volunteers a henna if they are interested. And I know that it's not everybody's cup of turnip tea, but anyone, Joanna, I'm not sure if you're interested.
I am. Oh, thank you.
Think about it.
Yeah,
And you
to look at my calendar.
You know her?
Yeah.
How is she cute with the shades on? Thank you.
Fantastic, Mary Ann, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get a good night's sleep Friday night.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Appreciate
Thank you for everything. Yeah.
See you this weekend.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Taking the time to attend our
Later.
meeting.
Oh,
I'll
you
bring
want
back
that?
this, yeah.
Let's just shoot. I
Mary
can't
Ann.
make it.
Oh,
Not rushing her out.
what time?
Being
is it?
mindful
1
of the
o'clock.
time.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep. No, thank you. Thanks, Joanne.
Okay, we do not have any members of the public present, so we'll pass on that. And as I mentioned earlier, Olivia was not feeling well, so she's not with us this evening. So Debbie, we're up to you with the Friends of the Library.
I meant to ask her as far as Olivia and the volunteers from the
Oh.
school. Do you know?
I don't.
Okay. So she was gonna do some honor society people and stuff like that. Friends report. We have received a very generous $25,000 donation from Steve and Mary Gulrich.
Mhm.
And it was generated, they give us a generous check every year. But they truly appreciate the library and they wanted to help support us. And it actually, the backstory is they were having a conversation about the roof. So, I mean, I've known Steve for a long time and we're on a couple boards together. So he goes, well, I'll call Debbie and see if would that be a help if we need some money for the roof? I was like,
Aw.
oh my goodness gracious. So anyway, so the thing is that obviously, I said, oh, that's, so gracious of you. And, one thing led to another anyways. And he goes, well, we're still gonna send you some money. I had no idea until I opened the envelope and was like. So there it is.
Very
There,
generous.
Wonderful.
there's an example of people that love this library that, the roof generated a conversation over dinner about, well, maybe they could use some money for the roof. So, I don't know. Anyways, it was lovely of them to do that. After Melanie's report about the piano repair options, the friends voted to cover half the cost, whatever that is, assuming that you guys, the trustees, are gonna pay the rest. We'll be decorating the library Monday morning, December 2nd, because that seemed to be the date that settled with everybody, so we should get it done before noon, before we open. And we're ready for turnip day. Everybody is on board that's gonna have some role, except for 2 people that are away. So it's like Mary Ann has roped everybody in. And our next meeting is December 5th. So,
Thank you.
I have a question. I was looking at the building list. Is the electric outlet been put in on the VIS room?
yes, 2 of them.
Yeah.
There's one to
I
the,
saw that,
if you're looking at the building, there's one just to the left of the
of the door.
front door.
Mhm.
And he was gonna have a dead switch thing coming out of the Turner room, and the wall, because he stole the power from there. And I said, John, could that be an outlet too? And he goes, do you want another outlet there? I'm like,
You can't have enough.
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, so yeah, we have 2 now.
Great.
So that's fabulous, because that empty corner there where the Cape Cod Tech, their solar house was,
Mhm.
that's now has power over there for anything, for the
Yeah.
future of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Thank you for bringing that up, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's terrific. How long have we been working on that? And the
7
thing is
years.
that I really get concerned when we've got wires going
know.
from here and there all over everywhere else.
I know.
People have to could trip, and I get really concerned.
Yep.
With older folk.
Okay,
Terrific.
thank you. Moving on to the director's report, Melanie.
Okay. So we are looking into 2025, and this is gonna be the time that we engage in strategic planning. It feels like the right time for a couple of reasons. We'll just have done a hire for a new services librarian. The winter time is kind of a good time to start projects. We'll kind of have some time to figure out what exercises we want to do and how we want to invite the community to participate in that. So that is what we are looking forward to in 2025. I'm going to have more information and a timeline for us at our next meeting. I've got to put it in writing so that I can stick to it. It helps me. It helps me with my goals. So looking forward to that. Library programs and services update. We moved some of the, when we moved the mobile shelving into the reading room areas to clear out the lobby, partially for the concert that we had with the students last Thursday, but also to prepare for Turn Up for Fun Day this coming Saturday. DPW is really gracious, and we had a couple of folks come over and help us move 6 or 8 of the tall back chairs off-site to the town center plaza, just because those are like some of the bigger, bulkier pieces of furniture. So this is temporary, just getting it off-site so we have more flexibility with the shelving that we have, because that really can't go anywhere, it can't go off-site. Has to stay here.
I have a question. Where did they put it over the town center plaza? Do you know?
I don't.
I would imagine
Idle
that's where the
times.
idle times, the
Yeah.
bike
Yeah,
store.
I'm bike shop.
I'm assuming
That's
that's.
where
yeah,
the windmill.
They've
weekend
been
things
using
are.
that for a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Which is very handy to have, because we don't really want our furniture at the DPW.
Yeah,
No.
but it allowed us a lot of flexibility here, especially, with the flooring and everything. It's because it's not only that we lost the space, we're, having the bottleneck of the pathway, it's trickier to, well, now it's finished and that's great.
Mhm, mhm.
Installed, not finished. So that, but it was tricky to move furniture sort of back and forth across that area.
But were we charged anything for the move?
From DPW?
Mhm. Okay, no, you never know, I'm just,
Well, the third town department.
a
so we have each other.
financial question.
Yeah, no charge. One thing that I forgot to put on here, but just wanting to note this for the board. So as part of the employee association contract, we have Thanksgiving Day off for staff as well as the Friday after and a half day the day before. Because town hall opens at 8 and they have kind of like a 4-hour chunk when they close at noon, I felt like opening 2 hours was just kind of too short a time. So I asked some staff to sort of adjust their half days. So we will be open until 12:30 the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then staff will be closed Thursday and Friday. So
Sorry to barge in like this.
That's
I'm just
okay.
looking for a black cord that somebody left behind.
Oh,
There's some right over in the corner.
right over here, Thomas.
is that it?
Thank you.
So Melanie,
You're welcome.
tell me again, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, you're being open
Will
until
be open 10 until 12:30.
10 until 12:30.
Correct. And then closed all day Thanksgiving Day and following Friday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we had some recent professional development updates. Thank you so much to the board for agreeing to allow us to close for a portion of the day on Tuesday, October 29th, to have an on-site training with Jane Stimson from MLS. That training was on generative AI and it was very cool. It was really informative. It was nice to have all staff, be able to be there and just kind of ask some open questions. We focused a lot on the ethical and environmental implications of generative AI, which was new to a lot of us. And Jane sort of shared her experience working with it because she's been kind of testing out these tools as well as running, what does she call them, AI hours on Fridays at noon for library staff. She shared her slides with us and reminded us that there is an MLS AI LibGuide, which I linked in here, and it should be an active link in the packet that I sent out. Mary, I'll get you that link because we've been sort of out of email communication.
Yeah, I spoke to Richard, he said he was gonna talk to IT to unblock me, so.
Great,
yeah,
great,
But I'm not sure it's been done yet.
Okay, perfect. So I'll follow up on that, but if, that's open to, it's just a website that MLS provides if any trustees are interested in learning more about that. We really liked having that sort of, intimate training with Jane, and she's available to do different kinds of training for staff, and we'll probably seek out bringing her back here in the future. On November 1st, we had a directors roundtable. I kind of co-coordinated clams director roundtable on Martha's Vineyard at the Vineyard Haven Library on Friday, November 1st. And it was great. The directors haven't really had face-to-face contact in a while. And it's a really nice opportunity to kind of, share things with your colleagues, to kind of, remind ourselves why this work is important, to kind of troubleshoot things, but also share positives that have happened at each of our libraries. So it was a very fulfilling meeting. And that kind of tone, we took it into our recent membership meeting, and we did vote to have, because our clams membership meetings have been virtual since COVID. And we've had a tough time kind of getting back into that due to the convenience, but this was kind of a turning point, and we're really feeling like the value of being in person is so much that we would like to ensure that we have at least one in-person meeting a year. So our June annual membership meeting is going to be at the new clams site in Hines. So that will be very exciting. Some other updates. So we completed our second round of interviews for a new youth services librarian. I just want to thank the board for taking the time to assist with that second round. And we're just kind of going through all the information that we gathered from that whole process and making our final decisions, and we'll be communicating with our final candidate soon.
When you say soon, what does soon mean?
Soon means soon. We're going to be having a retirement party for Fran to celebrate our fantastic current youth services librarian. That is going to be on Friday, December 20th. We're thinking a 2-hour chunk, probably from 11 to 1 p.m., but we're gonna maybe tweak that a little bit depending on staff input and a couple other things, but it will be late morning, early afternoon.
So the public is invited to that?
Correct, yes. It's gonna be in the Turner Room upstairs. It's gonna be an open house. That's how we kind of phrase these things. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
how about
Kids can go
food, gift?
Families.
The
All
friends
those
are,
things.
you know, interested in sponsoring some of that. I imagine the board would be interested in
Mhm.
sponsoring some of that too. When we had Deborah DeJonka retirement, I believe that the way that that was done is the friends fronted the cost and then the board of trustees reimbursed half the cost as an open house to the, right? That's how that we
Yeah.
did that? Yeah,
Yeah, we had food and they
Right.
paid half, and the
Mhm.
trustees paid half.
Right.
right. But I think it was the board that
I think we
reimbursed. the
paid it
friends.
ahead of time,
Yes.
just because
Yeah.
it was awkward for you.
Yeah,
guys
because,
to-
and I think there was the
Timing.
discussion at the
Mhm.
time was, using the public body to do it, whereas by the Friends doing it, that got us over that hurdle.
Yeah.
And then we just sort of split the cost with them.
Great.
It simplified it.
So I don't know if that needs to be a vote at this
Um,
time.
We'll
have
That would
another
be the
meeting.
time because, well, we have one more meeting.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
What's the plan for food?
We haven't really got that far yet.
Oh, okay.
Can we give her a gift or?
No,
No, we didn't,
Yeah,
give.
gifting.
it would
was
have to,
difficult.
yeah, not as a board of
No,
trustees,
no, no.
yeah,
Well, we'll be giving her swag bag.
Yeah.
Her going out the door swag bag.
I mean, the board could elect to sort of hold the specific, I don't know, up to a certain amount and not
Yeah,
anticipating. that
I'm
we're
trying to
gonna use all
remember what
that.
we spent for Deb, was it,
Ooh,
you know. 700
let me see.
something,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely at least that.
yeah, 700
Let
something.
me see where I have it buried.
What are your thoughts on the type of food for that time period?
Well, we're hoping for kids.
Mhm.
We're,
I'm sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
children,
So-
families,
so
families.
we gotta, we gotta do cookies and
Yeah.
stuff like that kids would like, and, juice boxes or something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking like the
Kid-friendly.
preschool age kids might come like with their parents because
so.
the elementary school kids won't be out of school yet. It's the following week that they start to have the holiday break time. So it would be younger kids, if any, but I was thinking, that's the reason why I sort of pushed it back to 11, thinking that if younger kids were gonna come, then that would be right before nap time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then town hall closes at noon and then I'm sort of hoping that they'll
Some
come over,
people from
yeah,
there.
that they would sort of trickle over after that. So that was the 11 to 1 timeframe kind of came out of that. But Fran's been away, so I just haven't had a chance to touch base with her about what she
Mhm.
thinks would be best.
The, looking back through my records, the trustees did take Deb out to dinner.
Mm.
And we, basically out of pocket, not using trustee money.
We each paid.
Yeah, yeah, there was the bill was, $258, and then we divided up the cost covering
Mhm, mhm.
Deb's cost, so that's something that could be considered. And I'm not sure let's see, the invoice for the public reception. That came out to a little over $1,400.
Yeah, so I had $700 in my brain.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that just for food?
That was for food, flowers, paper goods,
Drinks, mean,
yeah,
drink.
yeah, it was, I think lemonade and stuff like that.
Because that was, a lot of that was PB Boulangerie and
Yeah.
stuff, so that was obviously on
Oh.
the expensive side.
Yeah.
And we also had things in we had them
Oh, my
everything
goodness,
they
we
did
had
was
They
in
were
boxes
boxed,
because of
everything was
COVID.
boxed, yeah,
That's right.
Everything was boxed.
Yeah, we won't be
individual
doing that.
boxes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the idea of perhaps the trustees taking her out to dinner.
Okay,
And we can do that after the actual,
Oh, yeah,
she's still gonna
yeah,
be
but in
around,
terms
yeah.
of what we, so if the trustees wanna like, vote to allocate a certain amount right now, cause we can communicate. The board is allowed to communicate outside if they wanna take her out to dinner,
yeah,
but right
oh, yeah,
now, if we're
yeah.
gonna direct certain funds to it, we'll wanna put
Yeah.
that to a vote today.
Why don't we
So-
say up to half or a little more than what we,
And then we could, if necessary, we could always modify that in
At
the
our next-
future, so.
mean?
Last time around, that was several years ago, it was $700.
Mhm.
I would say up to $1,000 now, just given
Mhm.
the time that's passed. And then, we would cover that, and if it turned out that it, cost more, then we
Oh,
could have
sure.
that discussion.
Right.
So I would entertain a motion then to share the cost of a public. That was the other thing that was talked about at the time, of a public library reception, recognizing Fran's retirement. Of up to $1,000 with the Friends of the Library.
Are you saying $1,000 from the trustees
Yeah, from the
plus?
trustees.
That has nothing to do with the friends.
Right, well, assuming it's 50-50, that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
would be expending about that,
Yeah.
and then we would be matching it.
You're right, that's
And it
right.
may be more or less, we can adjust that if we need to.
Mhm.
So do I have a second for that motion?
I will second that.
Okay, and any further discussion? Willow, do you have the gist of that motion?
I have, a motion to share the cost of a public library reception recognizing Fran's retirement, for a cost up to $1,000 from the trustees.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Deb,
We'll consult with Sarah as far as what's appropriate
Oh.
for. What's appropriate snacks for somebody the age of.
I'm not the person to ask. since I don't-
Are you thinking of using Mary? For food?
We really haven't
Okay.
got that far yet.
Yeah.
For one thing, I was hoping to, I figured, let's get past turnip day and then we can talk, then Mary Ann can be part of the conversation because she'll know the players as far as who might come with their kids and stuff like that, as far as that kind of food.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's really, now this date was settled with Fran, right? That this works for her?
I put it out to the staff too.
Okay, all right. It's an awkward time to attract in the middle of the day on a weekday
Children?
children, and I'm not really sure adult wise
Mhm.
who,
Yeah,
What-
if
what-
we didn't want to do it on the weekend.
as opposed to
I'm not
a,
available on the
Oh.
21st.
yeah, I mean, as opposed to a Saturday or a
Yeah.
night or,
Well, it's
you
just
know,
the Saturdays in December get a little bit tricky. It's just the
Right.
time of year.
and you're not gonna
it's all
have it at a
tricky.
night and have kids.
Yeah.
So, it just is, I guess it is what it is.
I was
We'll
going off
just-
of a similar thing that someone had done for retirement for somebody at town hall, in winter last year.
Yeah.
They did an open house at noon on a Friday and it's
Yeah.
like, that felt casual and.
Yeah.
I would, since it's for Fran, I would focus the food on Fran.
Yeah.
I would say as a parent, I wouldn't expect to go and think that you'd gotten like food for my kid. But, like, I would think it'd be for Fran,
Okay.
like whatever food she
Yeah.
would like and
That
enjoy.
being said, if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
gonna
really
get Capri
both.
Sun, I reserve one for me. I would love it.
Okay,
All right,
so I think we're good there.
thank you.
All right, I think that concludes
Hmm.
the director's report, unless you had anything else you had. Yeah, no, okay. So we're up to old business, and on the policy review, we have the gift acceptance form that we've talked about in the past, and that's printed in the packet. So let me start with asking for a motion to approve the new gift acceptance form as printed in the packet, which is a supplemental document to the gift acceptance policy.
I'll make a motion to approve the new gift acceptance form.
Okay, we have a second
I'll second.
discussion. Mary?
The first, what I will call the first sentence, isn't a sentence. I, the donor, hereby give, donate, and convey to the Eastham Public Library, hereinafter referred to as library for general purposes of the library. Subject to terms and conditions, and
Included below.
yeah, there's not a sentence. I think you've got to say, I, the donor, hereby give, donate, and convey a gift to the Eastham Public Library, hereinafter referred to, but for general purposes of the library, subject to terms and conditions included and noted below, I would say.
So you're
noted below.
inserting a gift between convey
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to.
A gift in parentheses described below.
Yeah. So with that editorial change, I'm not gonna vote on the editorial change, but with that editorial change. We have a motion, and did we get a second on that motion yet? Okay,
Joanna.
Joanna,
Who was first?
Joanne,
Joanna.
Sarah and
no, Joanna
Joanna.
was second.
Oh, Sarah first.
Wait, any additional discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. The Memorial Fund consolidation update, if any, I'm not aware of any at this
No,
point.
We haven't done any.
Okay. Piano repair project update.
So you did get, a few weeks ago, a secondary quote from.
Oh, I'm sorry, never mind, I'm sorry, I have another question on the form.
Okay,
You have, on the second page of the donor form, terms and conditions, the library's accepted the donor's gift of materials listed above.
Mhm.
Is that all gonna be part of? When you say listed above,
Well, that's the second page.
yeah, so that's not, so there's nothing listed above,
The first page is above the second page.
I just.
I think.
listed here in, but above, I think covers it also, because
Form will be
Yeah.
available online and it will be. you
Yeah,
know,
that should be, okay, sorry to interrupt.
no,
Before we talk about our next subject, can we just see, because I did invite Elaine Lipton
Oh.
to, and she didn't know if she might join us or not, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay,
I don't
okay.
see anyone in a waiting room. I believe
Okay.
we disabled the waiting room for, so she should be able to come in.
Okay, she was not
Yeah,
sure.
no, thank you for,
So,
because it was
thank-
blocked there, so I couldn't see. Thank
Okay.
you.
okay. So we're up to the piano repair.
A few weeks ago, we got a quote from World Class Piano, which is a piano repair company in Boston, and their quote provided a little bit more extensive information about what we would what it would cost to do sort of a full restoration of this piece. It also provided information about what the replacement cost would be to totally replace the piano, which would be $94,000. The part that we're really looking at, in terms of comparing the two quotes is the, for the world-class piano, the soundboard, pin block and restring costs.
Mhm.
Under the world-class piano quote, that's $17,000. And under the, Jim Pfeiffer's quote, it's $16,000.
$16,500.
And, yeah. And Jim has included the cost of what it would cost to transport the piano in here as well. So all told, everything that would go into that project would cost $17,600. For the world class piano, the work that we're really looking at would cost at least $17,000, and we don't know the cost of transportation yet because that's the cost that they provide later. I spoke to Jim a little bit more because in our assessment, the second assessment, they talked about doing some additional work with the action pieces to replace it with Steinway materials. And Jim was quoted replacing some of our pieces as needed with a different vendor who I'm just, not as familiar with. So it's not my area of expertise. And I spoke to Jim about that because he noted in our assessment that the action is very good, that there's a couple things that need to be replaced, but he proposes working with materials from this other vendor because he says that historically these materials last better, longer. They hold up better for longer. Steinway materials, while still sort of high quality materials, there was a decrease in quality after World War II, and they've continued to kind of use that standard still. And it's, Steinway specific, it's,
The name.
yeah, name brand.
Mhm.
So if we want it to be like as authentic as possible, which from my perspective is not necessarily the goal, we want it to, sound as good as it possibly can and be as functional as it can for as long as we can have it. And so Jim recommends using these other parts, which are both more cost effective. He thinks that the sound is, I think he said richer, sounds like a good word to me, and that they hold up longer over time. So I appreciated him giving me that insight. And he does have somebody who's going to be having a piano taken off site at the end of the month. So if we were to go with Jim, we could get this work done pretty quickly. And we could have it moved off site at the end of the month, which would just be nice that it's not lingering here waiting, to be picked up and then having the work done. So at the most recent Friends meeting, we spoke about possibly, because previously we had talked about the Board of Trustees and the Friends Board, maybe splitting the cost for this because it's a library-owned piece of equipment, but used inherently for library programs. So the Friends have set aside $10,000 for the piano repair, thinking that they might cost share with the trustees. And so I'm interested in getting a vote from the board to also contribute $10,000 toward this project. From my perspective, it is worthwhile to fix the piece that we have. We are familiar with it. The public has used it and enjoyed this piece. To seek out a replacement would be, a lot of time and research that would require, some outside expertise that I don't necessarily have, and I don't necessarily think that we have in-house. And if that's a goal that we want to go for, I'm all about it, but it will take a lot more time. And then instead of having, a piano for potential concerts in the summer, now we're looking at, I don't know, a year without a piano and having to do rentals and things like that. Based on what I've heard from Karen, we're not really in a challenging position for the winter music series. I think she's had one pianist applicant for that. And it's possible that they might even be able to bring their own keyboard, depending on what the needs are of this
Just
particular
one
musician.
pianist, not just one response.
Oh, yes,
no.
yes. She had great response, yes,
Just one
But
would
one
need a,
with this
a
particular
pianist
instrument
need,
need.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not something that we need to push for, within the next few months. If we were to pursue this project as the timeline is shaping up now, we could get this work done over the winter, have the piano back in the spring, and then if we wanted to do things into the spring, because we usually have a spring concert as well from the students. And then occasionally some concerts in the summer. So I think that this would set us up well for that situation. So
Okay.
that's what I'm advocating for.
And I'll say, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You've answered a question that I had, but I was looking at the numbers and the two estimates and I couldn't figure out why we were only asking for $10,000.
Right.
But that's been answered now. So, let's go with your question.
When Melanie went over this in the Friends meeting, I think it was Annie LaJoy, right, or said that whoever she works for, they always use the repair service
Right.
that we're
Yeah,
going
they
to
use
go
this
for.
JP.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so then why don't I ask, I have a motion to expend up to $10,000 towards the piano repair project using JP fine tuning services, cost to be shared with the Friends.
I'll make the motion.
We have a second? Second discussion or
I have a
clarification?
discussion. I'm looking at the estimate worksheet. And
For which vendor bears?
JP fine tuning. And it notes that some of the work is to be done by Aardvark. That's not the same name as JP tuning. And I don't see any dollar sign for the work that they're listed here to do.
Probably subcontracting.
Yeah, this is the, what was the word he used for this? He's worked with Aardvark, to do pretty much all of his recent restoration and repair work. So he gave me their website to look at sort of the process. So this is somebody that he's subcontracting with, and this is the shop that the piano would be delivered to if we were to go with Jim.
So that is included in the 17,006, because it looks here as if there's no dollar figure associated with that work. And so I was concerned that that was an additional cost that wasn't included in this estimate.
No, my understanding was that, the time that he took to prepare this for me was reaching out to Aardvark and getting the cost for materials for what that,
Okay,
repair would be.
And I did ask, I was confused too, so I asked Elaine and she said the same thing you did, and that Aardvark is a company that services many of the colleges and universities in Boston. They're well known, and Harvard was one mentioned. So I had the same question.
yeah.
Okay.
So how long, based on your discussions, how long do you think we would be without a piano?
A few months,
A few months.
12 weeks. I don't remember if that was in the evaluation here. It will be, the repair work itself will not take an inordinate long amount of time. The real kind of time piece is that the piano needs to settle after it's been restrung. It needs to settle and be retuned several times, and there needs to be sort of it needs to be allowed to settle fully before being retuned so that this work is done most efficiently. If we opt to get the piano brought back the library before they can do that settling and retuning.
Mhm.
We would have to have somebody come out and retune it several times in order for it to be ready to play for a performance. So it's just most cost effective to allow it to remain off site so that they can, on their site, do the retuning as it's
the work.
convenient for them, et cetera.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Rather than doing it here.
correct.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who,
I made the
made the
motion.
motion, Sarah and.
Joanna.
And the motion carries. Okay,
Thank you, Melanie, for learning all
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
and for getting that second.
another area of expertise.
right.
that you can-
Right, we're gonna rate you out now as a.
Yeah, as an
Let's see,
expert. I
you
do.
can HVAC, roofs, pianos.
I do think it was worthwhile to get the second quote. I learned a lot more. And now we have a little bit more information about
Mhm,
this industry in the area. So,
mhm.
thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to the bylaws update, and we have a motion suggested to amend the trustees bylaws to be consistent with the town charter in regards to the process of hiring the library director. And I've added to what was in the packet, as printed in the packet, Article 3, Section 2. So that identifies where we're referencing it. So may I have a motion to that effect?
I've done some work on this issue and I put together a piece of paper regarding showing the language that's in the
Thank you.
town charter.
You?
It's at the top. And I'm looking at what we have in our bylaws. And I put down on the bottom of the sheet I just passed out, the language that I feel mirrors the language that's in the town charter. I have the town charter here, but the town charter is also on the page you're looking at.
So what you're suggesting is that we use the language that's handwritten at the bottom of the page as
That's
our
what I'm
motion.
recommending, and it mirrors the language above that is in the town charter.
Board of Library Board shall,
I'm looking at, if you're looking at the bylaws, it's Article 3, number 2, and it's the first two sentences.
Just to be clear, the bylaws that I included, I apologize, the one that's printed out is just in black and white, but it should have the track changes that I made in Article 3, Section 2, but it's not highlighted red here, so now I'm having trouble determining where exactly that was. But right after our last meeting, we had an idea of some proposed language, and I sent that out mid-October. So what I'm trying to clarify is that I had made a change that I thought we were all in agreement on, and so it just seems to, so this is an additional change, and that's totally fine with me. I just want to be clear on the process that I thought at our last meeting, we had made one suggestion, and then this would be an additional suggestion to further clarify. I just want to be sure that I'm understanding our
Okay.
Yeah, you
process.
did send out an
Yeah,
email.
you-
and-
okay, and so you got that,
Yes,
and
yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
and you
you-
asked for comments, and so.
And
that's-
this is your
this-
further,
This is my comment.
thank you for clarifying there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
okay, so there was a proposal sent out within the packet. And this is now an additional proposal, which would Okay, so we have,
since it's my language.
it's been moved, yeah, that's why I thought you were gonna move it since it was your language, but that's okay.
When I
Um,
say it's my language,
yeah.
it's not my language, it's the language that's in
Yeah.
the town charter. mean, I didn't make
So,
it
all
up.
right, so we have a proposed language that mirrors the language in the town charter. And we have a motion and a second, so we're open to discussion on that.
So then we're deleting that second sentence that talks about the library director.
We're deleting, we're putting in what I have written
Yes, and
in place of the first two sentences in Article 3,
Mhm.
number 2 of our bylaws.
Yeah. Can I just read what is existing in the bylaws?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because just as, so, and this is what you're suggesting that we
Mhm.
change this?
I have the bylaws right
Yeah,
here.
I got it here, I think. So in the bylaws, it says the board will have the responsibilities provided by blah, blah, blah. Oh, the
You-
board will
you-
appoint a qualified library director who will be the executive and administrative officer of the library on behalf of the board. So that's saying that we appoint the qualified library director, which is not what it says
In the
I just want to
charter.
be sure I
Right,
understand.
and we recommend it to
Mirror,
the town manager.
yeah, yeah.
The
So-
second sentence is, what confuses me because it
Yeah.
does seem to create a change in responsibility. As I read the current bylaws, it says the library director will be the executive and administrative officer of the library on behalf of the board and under its direction. But the proposed new language says that the board shall be responsible for the administration and operation of the public
Mhm.
library, which I understand is the board is bequeathing to the library director those responsibilities. But
But then it
Good.
says responsibilities delegated by the board to the
oh,
library.
will include
right.
implementation of policy,
Right, all the things that you're responsible for.
direction
Mhm,
of library operations.
So
Yeah,
it picks up that last sentence then.
Mhm.
mhm.
The board shall be responsible for the administration and operation of the public library. Is that in the existing language?
yes,
If you look at
Is
the,
right. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Of the town, one,
the
not
town
of-
charter says there shall be a board of library trustees consisting of 5 members elected for 3-year
Yeah,
overlapping
that
terms.
shall be
That shall be
responsible.
responsible for the administration and operation of the public library.
And that's in the town charter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at the top
But
of
not-
the-
Okay, yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out where it fit in.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically then it would be the language that's written on the sheet that Mary shared with us, that proposed language. And then it would pick up with the
The word
second
responsibility.
sentence, which is responsibilities delegated by the
Right,
board,
right,
which is in our current bylaws.
right.
Okay. Is any further clarification needed?
No?
Okay. So I think I should write this in the minutes.
Yes.
And so a motion to use the language as printed by Mary Shaw that mirrors the language in the town charter.
Which is replacing the first sentence
First
in,
two sentences.
first two sentences
In
in
Article 3, number 2.
2.
in Article
3,
3,
number 2
number 2.
of the bylaws of the trustees of the Eastham Public Library.
Okay,
Is it the first two
Yes,
sentences
yes, it is. Yeah.
of number 2?
Of number 2, Article 3, number
I
2,
see.
first two sentences.
First sentence?
Mhm.
Oh, there's the, I couldn't find the period. I was looking for the end of the second sentence and I kept going past it.
Uh,
Okay,
and then I'm going to say, this will read, and I'm gonna quote it
Mhm.
in the minutes, okay?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and we've discussed it and hopefully clarified it. Any additional discussion or clarification?
I just want to bring one
Yes,
other
sir.
thing up on the bylaws. And it wasn't until after I started to reading them myself. Article 10,
Does that have to do with the,
no.
right, could we hold off on that
Sure,
then? Let's,
sure.
let's do the vote on this.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then if,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Mary, you have additional
Yeah, yeah,
discussion on the bylaws
Article number 10
of the,
of the
of our
bylaws.
bylaws?
Yeah.
Article 10,
X,
okay,
X marks the
financial
spot.
statements,
A financial statement of all expenditures of money and credit will be presented at each meeting.
we,
We haven't been doing that.
Well, we had, I understand that it's inconsistent with this, but the board had felt that it was only necessary to go over, do a quarterly financial review. So I think we just need to determine how we want to do that.
Well, this
Oh.
isn't what we've been following. Yeah,
if
Right,
we're,
because
so
the
long
board-
as we're doing the bylaws,
that's why I brought it up.
we'll be, we could just change that,
Say at
a
least
financial statement of expenditures of money and credit
Yeah.
will be reviewed quarterly.
It's got to be changed to
Yeah.
agree to the way we're operating.
Yeah, so I would think that would be, I think we can do that with the motion from the floor right now.
Melanie had suggested we could say like at least quarterly, because if something does come up
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is
And I
pressing,
think we've done that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so a financial statement of,
Of all expenditures of
Expenditures,
money
money
and
and
credit will
credit.
be presented at each meeting, at least quarterly. Or is that-
how about will be reviewed at least quarterly?
Okay,
And reviewed is a little more, I think, flexible
Yes.
than presented.
well, I think actually reviewed is better because
Yeah.
review
Yeah.
requires some discussion presented.
Right.
Here it
Yeah,
is.
just here to,
right.
Yeah. Right.
okay, so may I have a motion?
Thanks for catching that, Mary.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
sorry?
Thank you for catching that.
That saves us having to come back and look.
Yeah.
A financial statement of all expended money will be, and credit will be reviewed at least quarterly.
At least
Is that how we're doing?
Okay, so may I have a motion moving that language?
Yep, Mary did that.
I'm sorry?
Didn't you move it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that is
A
moved.
second.
Second,
Second?
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
And I can't read it back to you yet because I haven't figured it out.
Okay,
Just as a point of order, I had updated the next scheduled review to be FY, oop, there's a typo there. It should be FY 30, not FY 230.
No, he's the one at the end you're saying.
Yes. So I will fix that. It'll be FY 30, October 2029,
Mhm.
Yeah.
unless we need to review it before.
okay. All
Thank you,
right,
everybody.
Yeah.
And I will update those and send them out to the board.
okay, thank you. We have a discussion of the Terrapin donation update.
Sarah had just noted that we should follow up on this because we opted not to have that discussion, that work session in October. Deciding that a more appropriate course of action would be to form a committee eventually to do kind of an assessment on library property, library grounds and property, and how we might want to continue to develop our usage of that over time. Especially because it's not urgent timing wise, to make the decision about the Terrapin since there's so much other planning that needs to go into it. So a more appropriate course of action for the board is going to be to kind of assess what the library needs are and what our desires are for the library grounds going forward. Not necessarily right now, but this is something that can be also kind of looped into our strategic planning, I think, too, sort of part of that. And yeah, so we're not making any more action on that, but just for the public record, we opted not to have that work session. We're going to be proceeding differently going forward.
So if we're talking about forming a subcommittee on that, is that something we want to do at this meeting?
No.
To form a subcommittee?
I think, so,
Okay.
yeah, but thank you.
Okay, so, I'll put that on the agenda prep and we'll figure out how to do that offline.
I think it'd be smart to do it with the strategic planning. It just makes sense.
I
It's a
think so,
long-term planning. thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll already be
That-
in subcommittees and things. so.
Yeah. Usable outdoor space kind of feeds into meeting room need,
Mhm.
so that's all a great point of
Okay.
conversation.
We'll move that to the agenda prep meeting and then we can come back next time
Great.
with a recommendation of, or a statement of what we've done so far. Okay,
Can I read to you what I just very simply said, in the last issue, a motion made by Mary, seconded by Joanna to amend Article 10 of the trustees bylaws to read that financial statements of all expenditures will be reviewed at least quarterly.
all expenditures of money and credit
Credit, yeah.
will be
Statements
reviewed,
of money and credit.
will be reviewed at least quarterly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
And- That replaces all expenditures. Money and credit replaces all expenditures, is that right?
Mhm.
finance of all expenditures of money and credit will be reviewed at least quarterly.
Okay.
So expenditures is still
Got
in
it.
there.
It's still, yeah, the word expenditures is still in there.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
moving on to new business. Trustee report card is in your packet on pages 22 to 25. And I think in the past, what we've done is we've distributed it at a meeting with the expectation that we would come back and discuss it at the next meeting. And we revised this last year. There was the individual
Yeah.
report card
That's
and there was
nice
some
to
funky
see.
language. So this is the revised version, which doesn't preclude us from wanting to revise it some more after we go through it this year, but this is the revised version. So the request at this point, we don't need a motion on this, but I'll put it on the agenda prep so that it comes up on next month's agenda. Is for you to go through this, print your own copy, go through it. And if you forward it to me, I'll happily, I'll compile it so that when we come back, we could see where everybody was on it. And then that might facilitate the discussion. My general thinking is always sooner rather than later, so it doesn't get on the back burner and we forget
Should we
about
put a
it.
date down? I'm trying to remember when our next meeting is, December 17th, so when would you?
I'm thinking, well, as I was saying, is if it's fresh in our mind, we just discussed it now, so if you could get me, today is Tuesday, if you could get me something by next Tuesday, that would be certainly way before our next meeting, but that would give me time then to take your information and compile it. So my request would be
Is that the 23rd?
19 and
The
no,
26th.
no,
Today's the
19
19th.
Yeah.
and
next is the
7 would be the 26th.
Are you sending it out again to us? Yeah, or it's in the packet?
It's in the
It's
packet.
in the packet. I don't think it
You
needs to
don't
be
need
sent out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to. Does anyone need me to?
Well, let me ask
Maybe make a
this.
copy.
It's in the packet, but it's in the packet as a PDF.
Mhm.
Website?
I'm not sure.
If you could send it to us as
Yeah.
that Word document.
Oh,
then you
yeah,
can-
yeah.
Yeah,
you can edit
then
and put it in
people
yourself.
can just, and then I'll copy and paste
Oh,
and I compile
absolutely.
it.
I will do
That's
that.
So I
way
think that
easier.
makes sense,
Yeah.
yes.
Way
Totally.
easier.
No
You're right.
problem.
Thank you, Willow. Thank you,
Yes.
because,
So, sorry, what date are we talking about now?
so we're talking
This is
about the
19th today.
26th.
19, 21, 22.
It's amazing how difficult adding two double-digit numbers has become. I'm getting old.
When is Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is the 20.
That would be a couple of
Eight.
days after
Yeah,
yeah, before
late.
Thanksgiving. Is that pressing it to
No.
do this by next Tuesday?
Not for me.
If you don't get to it, I mean, it's not critical. I mean,
20, the 26th, you're saying, okay.
yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna compile them as I get them, so if you run into a bind, rather than sending it to me, just send me a note saying, I'll get it to you after Thanksgiving, and that's still plenty of time for the meeting. But from my end, I'll be compiling it as we go along, so that I don't wind up then having to go through all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And what did we decide are we also sending you the individual trustee?
No,
No.
we bagged that last year,
Okay.
you could, yeah.
You just
Just
look at it for
personally.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the 2 pages.
Yeah.
Got it.
Is it, I'm happy to do whatever, but I assume, I was going to send out the individual one as a Word document too, just for reference. That's fine.
As
Yeah,
well.
okay.
Yeah,
great.
that would be fine, yeah. And that way, if people fill it in, they could just send it to me, and I can then just bring it up and
Mhm.
copy and paste. And
You don't like retyping everything we write?
Okay. Scroll through all of this. Okay, we're up to the building review checklist.
Mhm.
I like what your
You
list
like
looks
it?
Yeah,
like.
I
Yes, as colorblind as I am, and I
Really
don't know
nice.
what all those colors are, they
Oh,
signify
the colors.
different
color
things.
I had a lot of
I
fun.
like it.
Getting a
Yeah.
lot of updates
Yes.
all at once, and the
Yes.
spreadsheet was just not working
Yeah.
for me and the way, so, thank you for the compliment.
Yes.
I thought it was a DPW, like a software like thing
No, I
that people
used,
got.
so what I did is Google Sheets has like proposed templates
Oh.
for like project management, event planning, stuff like that. So I just like adapted one of their templates and it's
Nice.
all, pre-color coded, and then you can add in your own categories. So
Oh,
if we have somebody else who would be coordinating this besides like the library or DPW, I can add that in there and just note it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
slick.
So, yeah, it's been a little bit easier to kind of coordinate the layers of building repair that are occurring right now. So just to give you an update, last week we had things moving kind of quickly. I tried to keep everybody in the loop over email, but this is reiterating what happened. So before last week, Blue Sky had been contracted and they were trying to figure out the timeline for everything with all their subcontractors for the roof and the flooring and everything. And there was a bit of delay on that. There's insurance updates that need to be made. And there's a little bit of back and forth because the contractor wants to ensure that they have the job before they increase their insurance, yada, yada, yada. So a bit of a back and forth. And we weren't sure when the flooring was going to be installed, and we were concerned about losing access to that whole area in front of the circulation desk, more so from a bottleneck foot traffic point of view than even that we needed that space for vendors. So we reached out to Carpets of Cape Cod, and they were so gracious and wonderful and generous with their time. They came over and did kind of like an assessment and tried to figure out kind of a custom plan for us to put in some carpeting temporarily that would kind of create like a ramp from where the hardwood is raised up to where the subflooring was. Rick, my contact there, said that he worked to get it in like, so the carpeting chunks would be big enough that we could repurpose it after the fact, so it wouldn't be just like a waste of money. He came up with 2 different plans for me based on what our needs were. And the long and the short of it is, he worked really closely with us and gave us a lot of information, and that I think helped advocate to Blue Sky that, this is really critical for us. We really need this space. So Blue Sky was like, rather than trying to like work around whatever you guys are trying to do and create another
Temporary.
create another, point in this plan. Let's see if we can get the flooring installed ASAP and worry about the sanding and finishing after your event, because the flooring is very stable and it can withstand so much because it will ultimately be sanded and sealed. Except for like a big water spill. So, because more on the roof in a second, but because they were feeling confident that the roof work is going to progress, that the flooring could
be done.
progress as well. So the flooring materials got delivered last week and they completed the installation today. The roof work is happening concurrently. I have been promised that the roof work will be completed by the end of the week. So I'm waiting for some updates on that. What they are doing with the roof, the information that I got from my contact at Blue Sky, is they're taking out the full metal valley where the leak has, been, and where we had the fix previously, the fix that obviously hasn't held up. So they're gonna replace that whole metal piece with TPO material, which is the same roofing material as like the flat part of the roof. And it's gonna come up like a foot underneath the metal roof so that the water, because the big problem now is that the water, when the wind comes, it gets like pushed up behind it, and that's, you know, then,
Comes down.
yeah. So the TPO material going up behind the metal, it's gonna go up enough that this shouldn't happen. And he talked about getting it sort of flush and then sealing it on top of that so that water shouldn't be able to get in there. It will be a smooth seal there and it will be fully sealed so that water shouldn't be able to get in. They're feeling very confident about that fix. I want to share that confidence so it can manifest that this will be the solution that works for us. I heard from Jackie that this cost was about a little over $25,000. And this is coming out of the town's repair and maintenance line, essentially.
Yes.
It's obviously much more fiscally responsible than going out to bid for a new roof. And Jackie and I are in agreement that it's our due diligence to, you know, work through if there is a, you know, reason to believe that this is a fix that's going to work. We want to pursue every avenue before, you know, if goodness forbid it does come, the new roof that needs to be replaced. We want to be able to, at town meeting, say that we tried everything that we could to get this fixed before we approached, you know, total overhaul of this. So we are feeling confident that this is going to work. And we will see.
And as you know, I received a call from, the reporter from the Provincetown Independent. And he was asking me some questions, which, I checked with Melanie first to gather some information. And one of the questions that came up, of course, was when the issue first arose, Jackie, speaking to the select board, had talked about it being a, you know, possibly something that was going to impact the capital budget. And at that time, we were talking about roof replacement. My answer was a generalized, given that they're talking about doing this roofing work and the flooring over a period of 2 days, that apparently the plan has changed and they are not talking about something that large, but then also suggest that they contact DPW and Town Hall to clarify, you know, how the project has changed. So I had that discussion. What remains to be seen is how it winds up looking when it comes out in the newspaper. But that's the discussion that I had about the roof, which seems to pretty much parallel what you were saying, using different words
Yeah.
and hoping I was right.
So,
Now, I have a question because, and it's something that actually Sarah brought up a while ago, and it's something that, you have on here, insurance,
for the roof.
yes.
Mhm.
I, you have it in here, so I don't know what that means. Yeah, on the worksheet here, you have insurance.
Yeah. Work delayed due to contract insurance updates.
Yeah, insurance, so the
Yeah.
subcontractors need to have a certain level of insurance to be on the roof and things like that, so they were just telling
Plus
me. that they-
liability insurance, like,
Yeah, for this is for their own things. This is just what was the notes that I had sort of to myself about why, because I had gotten updates from Blue Sky. We think the work's gonna start now. We think it's gonna start now. And he said the delays are because when they get the subcontractors, they have to make sure that the subcontractors have insurance to a certain degree based on, you know, the area that they're working in
Okay,
and what
okay.
town they're working. Yeah, so
I
it
didn't
wasn't
know
our
whether-
insurance. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and I have another question. I mean, I keep hearing about Blue Sky.
Mhm.
We've never used them, to my knowledge, any
Mhm.
place in town
Mhm.
for anything, not even the prior issue. How was that firm determined to be the firm that is doing the work?
That was a DPW decision, so I'm not sure if this is somebody that maybe John has worked with
Mhm.
or, I couldn't speak to
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, or a
I-
new emergency contact.
Okay.
Can I ask a question just about the floor? So like at Turnip Fest, it will be unfinished.
Correct.
If there is a spill, will that impact?
She
it?
said a little water is fine. We're gonna, you know, ask that people not like eat there, you know, bring drinks over there. But he's like, you know, if somebody spills a cup of water, that's one thing. We're talking like Because he was like, it's important that the roof work gets done because we don't want to have another leak on the unfinished wood floor. That would be horrible.
Catastrophic, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
okay.
beyond like a 50-gallon, I don't know,
Dump.
bucket spill, yeah,
Mhm.
they can withstand pretty much anything. is
Okay.
what- Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Under the building review, any other discussion, questions?
Great work
Yes.
at getting before.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for rain on Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that'll be the test. We'll find
Yeah.
out.
I don't know if you're hoping for that or not.
know.
It'll happen real fast.
We're gonna be done so that the test will be good, or am I gonna be stressed on Thursday about whether the floors are gonna?
Well, somehow the weather
Yes.
forecast isn't a secret.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, maybe bring a sleeping bag and just set up in the lobby
Yeah.
Thursday night.
you'll be the first to know.
Okay, let's move on. Under other business, I know we have one other item. Which Mary is gonna be point on that discussion about the Eastham Library Building Fund. Is there any other new business that's gonna come up so that we can pace ourselves in terms of timing? Okay, Mary, could you just first briefly explain to everybody what happened and then summarize the steps you've been taking and where you
Yeah.
might go?
Out of the blue, I should say, a letter was received at the library here. From the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, William Francis Galvin, Secretary of the Commonwealth Corporations Division. Important filing requirement notice regarding the Eastham Library Building Fund, Inc. And it goes on, and I won't read it. Essentially, it's saying that, a search of their records indicate that the above referenced corporation owes an annual report for each year listed below and starts 2020, 2021, 2020 up to now. And, there are issues associated with the fact that according to them, the annual reports weren't filed, et cetera, et cetera. So it got to me. And I started doing some research, and as did Al. And I put together a whole packet of information. I did work with Russ back when I was on the Eastham Library Building Fund. Russ Mullick was our treasurer. He's deceased now, unfortunately. And I went through all of my documents that I had on the dissolution of LBIFI. And I won't share them. I mean, people can look at them if they want them. I have them here. I got in touch with George Malloy, who was our CPA. I put together this packet of information and took it down to the CPA firm in Orleans where Russ had worked with the LBIFI documents. And I also got in touch with the state. I won't go through trying to get if to me, the state is totally disastrous. I mean, I call and I get a message saying, please leave your name and your phone number, we'll call you back. And I wait a couple of days and then I call again and I get another message saying, you're 15 on the waiting list for us or to respond. If you'd like to stand by and wait until we go through the 15, you can do that, or you can leave your number and we'll call you back. And I finally did get, this went on for a week. I finally did get a call back from actually a person. And it was a message that their hours are from 8 to 4, and it was at 5:04 when I got the message. I mean, I didn't answer the phone. I was someplace else. When I got the message, it was after 4 o'clock, and the message that they left me was at 5:04. So I called the number anyway. And I did speak with somebody. And essentially, the final report was not filed for the Eastham Library Building Fund. And as I said, I had the folks down at the CPA firm go through all of their records, and I got in touch with George Malloy. Unfortunately, he is no longer associated with the CPA firm in Orleans. And so he's doing his work, and he was trying to get a hold of the folks down at the firm that he had originally been working for. And I have to say that he was extremely and has been extremely helpful. He's called me on numerous occasions. He's been in touch with the CPA firm. He's looked through his records, blah, blah, blah. And is willing to help us in any way possible. And Al pulled up some stuff from this, on the state website. So we have, when we dissolved the Eastham Library Building Fund, for those of you that don't know, we moved the monies that were associated with Eastham Library Building to the trustees. And there were 3 different amounts, but it came to about, and we've seen the records that we've been keeping, and Melanie has, about $120,000. So after all of this is said and done, and as I say, George has been more than helpful with the whole situation. I don't think, well, and Al and I have talked. I think we have 2 options. We can say, forget it, we won't do anything about it. You know, there are some, and I won't read it all, but there are some financial costs if we were to file for the past years. George also recommended to me the possibility of just calling Mr. Galvin and saying to him, you know, that it was dissolved and all of the monies that were in there were moved to a municipal account, which is us, the trustees. And see if he just will agree to accept the fact that we've dissolved without us filing all these annual reports for 4 or 5 years and paying the money to have them done and all that type of stuff. And Al had gone through something similar with the Lions. And he didn't, you never filed I'm trying to remember you.
What
I have some of that.
what Mary just alluded to was one of the options is that the Secretary of the Commonwealth can do what's called an administrative dissolution.
Dissolution.
So we can apply to be dissolved, well, Biffy could apply to be dissolved and submit the paperwork. I happen to be in charge of doing that for my Lions Club when we dissolved. And when we were meeting, a final meeting for the finances for Old Biffy with George Malloy at Siemens Bank, I happened to mention that I had just filed the paperwork for my Lions Club, but I hadn't heard back yet. And his response was, quote, "Don't hold your breath,"
Yeah.
because they don't reply. It just sort of sits there.
Yeah.
And I actually brought up the report for my Lions Club.
Yeah.
And as the final entry of my Lions Club, it just basically says revocation. That's it. It doesn't, but I never got any notice and nothing else was done. So basically, the tax exempt status in Massachusetts was revoked.
Yeah.
Because in our case, I filed a form doing it.
Right.
But it can also happen administratively if you fail to file the forms. Now, the issue of going back and trying to file forms for 5 years, I think is moot. Because what
There's
the
nothing-
form
Yeah.
involves, it's not a financial form.
Yeah, I don't-
It's a listing of who the officers of the organization are.
Right.
And since 2019, there have been no officers.
Mhm.
So there's no one to contact. So my thinking would be, the other option that Mary mentioned is that she attempt to contact the Secretary of the Commonwealth and just say, this is the situation. We understood that the organization was dissolved.
Mhm.
It's 501c3, which is federal, was dissolved in 2019. The money has been transferred to a municipal account. If you want documentation, we could send it. And beyond that, I don't think there's anything else to do. There are no officers, there are no members or officers of that organization.
So
Who
nothing
filed
was
the
filed
necessary-
when it was dissolved in 2019?
Mhm.
Nothing,
The
nothing,
annual report was filed.
the annual report, but nothing to do,
With the
This-
dissolution.
is there some?
What
a
had
dissolution,
happened
yeah.
apparently is, and Mary and I were discussing this,
Yeah.
is, when we met with George Malloy to go over the final financial statements of the organization.
Yeah.
The closing down of the 501c3
You probably assumed he
charitable.
was gonna file something.
We figured that that was gonna happen at the state level as well.
Right.
But looking back at the file, I was able to pull up the file that was formed in 2019.
Yeah, the last
And it's a
one.
very simple form. You
Yeah.
just list the officers and pay $15, and apparently Russ filed those.
Here's a copy of that.
And when, you know, Russ passed away, obviously, nobody was filing those. And when we met with George to sort of close things out, it never really came up,
Right.
except for my comment about the Lions Club.
Yeah.
And so that's where it stands. So I think there is no
Right. I've
organization.
gotten a registered letter to Galvin, just explaining that will probably be all that's needed.
Yeah.
And somebody in his office, he'll throw it to somebody in his office, or
Yeah.
one of his aides will open it.
Yeah, and that might be me, rather than even trying to call and talk, is
Yeah.
to send a letter
Yeah,
outlining it, and I'd be glad to work with you on that, or.
yeah,
Eddie or
George is the one
whatever.
that mentioned calling, but.
Yeah.
we
They
didn't
send a
just-
letter with someone back and.
Yeah,
Of course, the other strange thing is, everybody, that, although I was involved, obviously, with raising these funds, because I was a trustee at the time, I was not what's the word I want?
you were not a member of the board.
Not a member of the board. I
And,
couldn't vote on anything.
and as soon as I became a trustee,
You had to
I
resign.
called the Ethics Commission
Right, yeah,
and said, you know, this is my situation.
yeah.
Can I serve in both roles?
You said no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And, you need to resign. So I said, well, what's the timeline on that?
Hmm.
Immediately,
Yeah, yeah,
today.
yeah.
And I filed my resignation
Mhm.
as the president of LBIFI,
Hmm.
and it then moved into,
Jan ended up being.
yeah, so, so possibly the letter might be the more efficient way to do it, rather than investing more
And
time.
I could include some of the documents that I
Right.
have here.
Right,
Yeah,
that
I
our
have-
final document. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you write something up and then we
Yeah,
can put our
yeah.
heads together on it.
Okay.
And I mean, this really isn't a Board of Library Trustees issue, except for the fact that the money was turned over to us, so we can confirm that that is in fact the case, that the money was turned over. And as a matter of fact, maybe what I could do is draft something from the board. Once you have the final
Mhm.
numbers, is that we did in fact, you could say we transferred the money to a municipal account.
I
And
have a
as the-
copy of
yeah.
the checks.
Yeah, and as the chair of the board, I
Bless you,
can
Mary.
affirm.
I'm sorry?
Bless you, Mary.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Who keeps all that stuff?
Yeah.
Mary,
Yeah.
thank God.
So
Yeah, I know.
I think we could do that we could send in a letter, and one of the documents that you can attach to your letter is the letter from the library board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2000
I know, all that stuff is done online now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Siemens,
Yeah.
Siemens Bank, I have the copies of the check.
Okay, so I think we're done with that discussion.
Yeah.
So if there's no other business, I call for a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
okay, discussion. All those in favor, please say aye. Okay,
Wait a second, I'm discussing.
the motion carries.
No longer.
I know, I've been in meetings where there were objections to adjournment,
Yeah.
because the adjournment. We're
Yeah,
adjourned,
but it stops
the
something.
adjournment was done to
Premature.
avoid action on.